pretty much no much car in there.
Oh, it's like that. Okay. So it's not too bad like other street tracks where they.
No, it is basically not really a street. It's more like a road, like around the park.
Interesting. Okay. Well, guys, today we're looking forward to the session. We'll just wait a couple of minutes whilst people log in. In the meantime, we've got lots of footage to go through, which I'm really looking forward to, based on our discussion from last week. So, Marcel, did you manage to go to the new track on? Are you planning to go today to the new track?
It's this afternoon. Yes.
Is it this afternoon? Okay. And it's an indoor track, basically.
It's an indoor. Yes, it is.
Excellent.
A quite tricky one. So.
Are you going to be driving as well?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Electric or petrol?
No, it's propane.
Okay, right.
The driving on gas. So.
Interesting. Be sure to get some footage. Let's see how it.
Oh yes.
How it goes.
GoPro is loading now. So.
Perfect. All set up. We had Theodore Horth, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He had some footage for tomorrow. We then had Zhao, who we're going to go through your updated footage, which you got from the week that went by, and then we'll hopefully round up today's session with Theodore Bellis' endurance race. Is that correct? Is it an endurance race? Sprint race. Perfect. Johi, how was practice after the last session that we did? Because I saw you definitely improved some timings.
Yeah. So there's still few things I need to working on.
First of all, the lap time is a good improvement. I think we mentioned that you wanted to try to aim for 47. So
yeah, but this is the double session, so the kart is heating up like after around like halfway through the session.
Which lap was the best lap on?
24? Lap 24. That's I mentioned the time in the comment section.
Awesome. Let's just fastest is at 20:22. Okay, so as you said, right after halfway, once the track is warmed up, once the kart is warmed up, once you're warmed up as well, that has a big impact. This is basically your fastest lap that we're watching. I remember we were discussing that this indoor track is you see, it's all about momentum. It's a tight configuration. So what you don't want to do is be overdriving in some corners. We also mentioned that the lines through a number of corners were already quite good for you. And there were just a couple of turns, for example, hairpins, this last sector as well. A few things in sector 2, which you could have experimented. Now, it already looks a lot smoother and a lot faster. And if we go back to just reviewing this lap then, how did you feel the difference was in the lines? Do you feel faster?
Yeah, pretty much. But apart from the turn 2, is still very struggle because when I turn into the corner, the kart is very unstable.
Okay. And that's for turn 2, you're saying?
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's take a look. So turn 1, flat out, left-hander. What we're trying to do is set ourselves up for turn 2. And you're saying basically here is where you're finding sliding, or what was that again?
Yeah, it like as soon as I tried, I turn once the kart is already kind of unstable and kind of sliding around. So that's why I try to hug the inside, but I try to hug the left hand side, but doesn't work well for me.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. That's a very, very good point you mentioned. So as you try to hug the left here, you feel there's not much grip.
Yeah, and then then when I turn into that right hander,
Yeah.
the card is very unstable.
Of course. Just looking at your lap over here, I want to confirm, are you full on the gas throughout this left-hander into the right?
Yeah, um but when I turn into this right hander, I will need to leave the throttle a little bit.
Okay. Where are you lifting?
Just when I was turning to this right hander, so I make
Nice.
a slight lift.
Just watching on the right, perhaps as the surface changes here, turning to the right, perhaps lifting just before that. You see, it's normal to feel that. It's a couple of reasons why you may have less grip. Track surface, number one. It does look quite slippery, compared to other parts of the track. Also, you're just carrying a lot more speed through this corner, and understand that the corner gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So probably at the latter part, where you have to turn a bit more, yeah, you'll definitely feel more drifting or more sliding. One way to get over that is potentially to reduce a tiny bit of speed, right? So what you might have to do, if you find you're sliding too much for turn one, then early in the corner, a very brief lift and then get back on the gas. So it's literally lift, back on the gas, on, off, right? That could help because as we've seen, it tightens up over here quite a lot. Based on this lap, I don't see too much sliding. What I do see, though, is understeer. So ideally, we want to try to hug the left-hand side. You're going at high speed, leaving a bit of gap, and then mid-corner, as we come out over here, ahead of turn two, can't become slightly unstable. So just think of adding an early lift. No problem. You mentioned you lift anyway for entry of turn two. What about the brakes? Where are you actually applying the brakes?
Still like around the tire.
Okay.
Like on
This
the
tire
right.
or
Yeah,
tire?
the tire on the right.
I feel that helped you. And if you notice how much smoother this line is, so what you're already trying to do is open up this corner. Look at your steering wheel, you're pointing it to the right, so you can get a nice exit going to the left. On the brakes, nice and early, you're able to slow the car down quickly. You're rotating it now, turning to the left, and in return, what can you do? Accelerate out the corner. Now, what's much better is you're not getting stuck on the outside tire wall. Remember we mentioned this last week, that you want to avoid drifting too far out wide and then getting on the gas, yeah? So what you've basically done is reduce the meters and look at our exit point. We're actually coming to the solid barrier now, as opposed to the tires that you were last time. So I'd say this is a very, very good effort. Let's go ahead now into the middle sector. How was the middle sector for you now, this part we're going through?
Just same as always, try to be, because at this stage, the card feel a lot more grippy. So I'm just stay in the tighter line.
That's interesting. So what you've done over here, you've exited out the first couple of corners. Based on the feedback that I gave you last week, this was probably one of your stronger points because you were generally doing a very good line through here, and you've continued that this time as well. So what you've done on entry of this double hairpin of sort, clicking it to the right, back to the left, we do want to open up this corner, and we mentioned it's a double apex turn. The first apex over here is defined by the tire. You don't really want to focus on that. You want to focus on the latter part of the corner, the late apex. So what you've done, kept a good distance to the first part, then a sharp turn in, getting good rotation, and you can see you're hitting the second part really nicely over here. So that's a very, very good effort. You're going to carry that speed now into the second part. I'd say it's a wider hairpin or left-hander. Were you adding the leaning over here? Remember we mentioned as you turn left, lean right?
Yeah.
How was the effect of leaning?
Yeah, it
helped you?
definitely feel more grippy.
Amazing. I'd keep that up because what you're trying to do is take this corner flat out. To help you with that, as you steer to the left, lean out to the right over here and keep your foot pinned to the floor. Now we're coming onto the back straight. So what you're doing here, you're carrying lots of speed. Interesting line you're taking here, just slightly tighter, so reducing the meters. And then widening up just before the hairpin. This was the corner that we discussed last week that you wanted to go for early braking. So how was that this time?
Yeah, I think this time around I can start accelerate a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And then try to close to the wall as
It's a huge difference, I see. Honestly, as you mentioned, not only can you accelerate earlier, but it's more controlled. So just watch over here. Nice and wide entry. Are you trying to brake as the surface changes over here? The lighter one to the darker one, or is it just after that you brake? What's the preference?
just after the things on the right.
Yeah. That's another very good reference. Yes, you mentioned the sign on the right side. Perfect. Because what you've done over here, on the brakes, watch your left foot, turning in for the corner, trying to get good rotation, trying to bring the steering wheel back to a neutral position. More importantly, the gap to the barrier is a lot less than it was last time. And here, we're just having to pick up the gas slightly earlier. So you do get a slight snap of oversteer mid-corner. But that's absolutely fine. Comparing it to last session, really good effort here. I reckon you gain majority of the time just by braking earlier, accelerating earlier, and keeping it tighter through here. Looks so much better. Talk to me about this section coming up now. This is the hairpin, which I think you were just going a bit too fast last time, but the line was decent. What was the difference this time?
This time around I'm leaning out a lot. So
nice. Okay.
So it definitely felt less understeer than previously. So,
and I can tell like huge difference. What was happening last time? You were taking a similar line, so your entry was wide. I think you were braking a bit later, and maybe you weren't even adding that lean in. So what was happening is mid corner over here, you were probably half a kart length to the left, and there was a big gap to this tire. Look at how, just by adding the leaning, maybe an earlier brake, and even a sharper turn in, you've closed that distance to the apex. You've taken the shorter path, and definitely it's allowed you to gain a couple of tenths. We're coming to the
still the couldn't apply to the late apex because the corner still bit tight. And
yeah, it's interesting here. Play around with it now. I think you've got your entry and the braking correct, where you can control the kart now and hit either middle apex, and if you want to try to hit this late apex, which is as these tires curve to the right, you can try this. So next time, think about continuing in a straight line, even in your braking for this corner, and just delay this turn in by a second or so. So if you notice, you're already turning in for the corner, and that's fine because you're trying to meet the apex. If you want to go for a late apex, just use a bit more of the road, which is on this side, deeper into the corner. Yeah. And then hopefully you can cut across the track. So from the left-hand side, you can come all the way back to the right. Remember, as you cut back, that's when you're accelerating. And then hopefully targeting some kind of an apex on one of these tires. Yeah. Try that out next time. Last part of the track now we're going to go through. Probably the most interesting portion because it's a unique blend of corners. So we start with this left-hand hairpin, and you mentioned that the track layout really depends on the tires over here. So talk me through this. How were the tires over here today? Joey? Hello?
Sorry, I forgot.
No, bro, I think you're muted.
I try to do as you told last time, but still, this session here is also slippery, just like the session in turn 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, the card is if I turning too much, like the session is the card will be very unstable. So I pretty much stay similar line.
I can tell that. Similar line you've taken, but it looks a bit wider. I don't know, compared to last time, especially on entry over here. Or is it just kind of line you're taking?
Yeah, it's a bit wider, but
it looks a bit wider. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason it looks wider is I feel your entry now for this hairpin is a lot better. What you've done is you've ended up on the right-hand side of the track, and because it's a sharp left-hand turn coming, you want to be closer to this side. So what you're doing, if you notice, you're initiating a sharp turn in. So coming down this straight, sharp turn into the right. It's okay if it's a bit slippery, the track. You see, what we're trying to do now is we're not trying to drive under the limit, so be too cautious. In saying that, we're not trying to overdrive. We're not trying to drift or go over the limit. Just be in that sweet spot. What I can tell, because we're watching this lap in slow motion, I don't see excessive sliding. I actually see quite smooth driving. Where's your braking point for this corner? Where are you actually pressing the brakes? Is it about here? See where this line is, maybe?
Yeah.
Amazing. I was just going to say that's quite a clear reference, and it's relatively early in the corner. So you want to keep on hitting at that point. I like how that's enabled you to slow down, sharp turn, and then hit a relatively late apex, you can say, based on this time. The time is really one, I believe, again for you in this last sequence of corners. So we have the double right, so right, into the final corner, which is the fast left. And just by looking at that observation, so smooth, really finding the limit there. So one more time. How was your entry this time? How were you attacking this section?
This time I brake later, which is like, so I ignore the first apex and then
Yep.
try to participate in the late apex, but still this corner is very narrow. So I can't went too deep because I will ending up hitting the barrier.
On the left side.
Yeah. And then so I pretty much break after the tire.
Yep.
Like
just past the
this
tire.
tire on the right. And then attacking this corner.
Yeah, that's what we mentioned. So don't get put off by the angle of this turn and the sharpness. Try to straight line it from the entry, which is over here, to the outside again. And what we're trying to do is have a wide entry so we can cut back to the right. So what you're doing, attacking this corner, just breaking after this sharp turn-in, using the outside track as a reference for track limits. So just going up until that faded line over here. As you initiate a sharp turn-in, you can get off the brakes, feed the accelerator, skip this part of the apex, go for the late apex, and look at that. Now you're positioned on the right-hand side of the track, so much better. Now what you're set up to do is a sharp turn into the left. I assume you were leaning over here as well, sharp turn in and lean right.
Yep.
Keep that up. That definitely is helping you. And look at the rotation you get on the kart. Look at how it reacts. Such a smooth exit. One more time. Sharp turn to the left, lean out to the right. Beautiful exit. One more time. Sharp turn in, lean out to the right. Getting the kart as close as possible to the left. And that is a new PB, I believe, right? Personal record? Personal best?
No, not really. I can do 47.2 in the league, but that's because the track is more grippy and
True. Have you
but
done a league
yeah,
race since these new lines?
pardon?
Have you done a league race since you've changed your lines?
No. The season is ended last week, so
Okay. Then
so
definitely,
it's
you know that
yeah.
half a second or whatever is in the track conditions and grip. And probably the line you'll find is going to be very, very helpful next time you league race. And overall, I think you're doing a good effort. I'd really keep everything as it is. If you really want to change something, then perhaps you can try maybe a later turn in for this hairpin over here. And as I said, it's simply about continuing in a straight line for a longer period, delaying your turn in, and then rather than going for mid apex, you could try late apex. See if that works. See if it gains you some timing. So for now, you mentioned that it's just practice that you're doing because the season is technically over. Yeah.
Yep.
I reckon if you keep on practicing this line, be prepared for the next league race that is coming on. As Marcel said, 46 is possible. Definitely 46, a high 46. Were there any other questions you wanted to go over before we move on to the next driver?
All good. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Xiaohe. Thank you so much for submitting the footage again today, and it's nice to see your improvements. If you have any future footage, you can be sure to submit it just like you did today. And we're going to move on to the next driver now. Let's just take a look at the chat. We've had a number of viewers joining on YouTube. It's nice to see some drivers from India. So we had XUQ, Y-Star having a nice chat, and Kanishk just discussing about tracks in India. We've had a few comments on Instagram as well. Welly is asking, how do you brake in karting? Trail brake or threshold brake? Megawatt is responding saying, trail brake, it's a blend. To trail brake is to blend braking and turning at the same time. Enables the driver to brake slightly later when boarding manipulate the car's master 8-corner entry. So in karting, it really depends what technique, what karts that you're driving. Let's try and get some footage up so we can have a better visual demonstration for you guys. Let's see. Yeah. Let's bring 2 bits of footage up, and then we can compare 2 different braking techniques. So we've got the rental kart technique, which is for 4-stroke karts, and then you've got the owner kart braking technique, which is more suitable for 2-stroke engines, you can say. Let's just load this up over here. Bam. So, Welly, here we've got a great understanding, or great understanding. We've got a great example of typical rental kart. This is what you'll find probably at your local track. We're coming up to a tight corner. So first of all, in karting, tighter the corner, more you brake, right? Or more chances there are that you need to brake. What technique do you go for? As soon as you identify a reference point for your braking, for me, it's going to be halfway down this curb. I go for a hard brake, and I'm really trying to induce rotation. So what it is, we slow this down. Watch my steering wheel at all times. Reason you want to watch the steering wheel is because the brakes are only located at the rear. So the harder you press the brakes, the more the rear end of the kart will rotate. And that's what I'm trying to achieve over here. I'm trying to achieve rotation. So I'm using my brakes to turn the kart. So initially it's going to be a high amount of pressure. This is a chart. It's a high amount of pressure, trying to lock the rear tires quickly. I can even then go for my turn-in as I'm doing on entry of the corner. And as I feel rotation, so as my steering wheel turns from the right, now I'm getting rotation. So I'm counter steering slightly. As you get this slight bit of oversteer or counter steer, that's when you have to release your foot off the brakes and start feeding the gas. So one more time. Identify your reference point. Mine is halfway down this curb. And in a rental kart, to threshold brake, that's a hard brake. It's a sharp turn-in. You're trying to induce a high amount of rotation. The best way to know if you've induced rotation, are you able to bring the steering wheel from the normal turning position, it's a right-hand corner, so turning right, back to a neutral position, maybe a few degrees of counter steer like I'm doing over here. That's a good way to know you're on the limit of braking. Then, if you're going for a faster kart, or you're in a rental kart which has high speed, right? That's where you can try trail braking. So you're coming on a long straight. Once again, we've got another hairpin turn over here. Going to hit the brakes. Nice and firm. Again, the brake chart would look like this. It's a high amount of pressure. What we're trying to do is reach that locking period. So as you feel the rear end of the kart rotate, locking the rear tires, now what we're going to do is gradually release our foot off the brakes. And that is what we call the trail brake. So as you get closer to this apex, that's where you want to gradually release your left foot as we get closer and closer and closer to this apex. And just about here, just before the apex, now you want to get off the brakes and feed that gas. Reason you want to feed the gas later in a kart like this, which is more powerful, because you got more horsepower, so you can afford to do that. So actually, the quickest technique is a hard, late trail brake with faster karts, like these. And as we mentioned, slowly bleed off the brakes after that hard braking period as you get closer to the apex. Make sure you're getting back on the accelerator as soon as possible. And yes, you're right. 125cc karts, they do require, generally, in most cases, trail braking, because those are more powerful karts. And we had a few other comments. Jeff's asking, do you have the lines for Shah Alam? Shah Alam, we discussed a few weeks ago. We have lots of drivers from Malaysia on the academy. So what I'd recommend is send a request to join the academy. It's free to join. And then hopefully submit a track request to review at Shah Alam. You can go for that. And we've got a few other comments coming through on YouTube as well. What we're going to do, guys, is go over to Theo now. So Theo, how was your sprint race on Wednesday, was it?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It was, I would say, a difficult race. But I think
It's a 30-minute video clip.
yeah,
Is this of that sprint race itself, or a practice portion, a qualifying? What part of
this
the event
is
was this?
this is the qualifying right now. It's a 7-minute qualifying. You can skip through it if you want.
And then it goes into a grid start. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
How was qualifying?
Pretty bad, almost really bad.
What
I think
happened?
I was the last one to get out of the pit lane, and I couldn't find any space to do my lap, because
Okay.
if I pressed the brakes and left a gap big enough where I didn't catch the guys in front, the guys behind me would catch me. So I tried to leave a gap of like 3 to 4 seconds, and every time I managed to catch them because they were really slow. There was one time that I managed to find some free air,
Yep.
but I spun the kart, so that wasn't entirely successful.
How was your kart? Was it decent? A good
It
one?
was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
right
is
here.
the spin over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened here? Just pushing the limits, maybe?
I
Braking a
think
bit
I went
late?
too late on the brakes. Yes. When I did that practice session,
Yeah.
I showed you last week.
Yeah.
I normally press the brakes right as the curb starts, or even a bit
Correct.
later, and I managed to make the corner fine.
Yeah.
And right now, I should have known this. The track changed significantly, so
Okay.
I don't know exactly why I had to press the brakes really early,
Mhm.
and I wasn't the only one. Almost every driver couldn't press the brakes any further.
And this is a corner which basically has the bump. That's why I'm trying to slow it down.
Yeah.
And then the bump unsettles you. You can see on turning, you're trying to control it, and then that happens. But
Exactly.
honestly, that's fine. That's what you want to do. I mean, you don't want to always do that in qualifying, but at least you're pushing the limits. That's a positive in it. Yep, you want it then to be more under control, but it's all good. So you didn't get a clean lap. I mean, 7 minutes is not a long time.
Yeah.
What position did you manage to secure after that?
Honestly, I thought I was done for after the qualifying. I thought I was starting almost last. There were 25 karts It was a
Wow.
big race,
That's a big
sold
race.
out. Yeah, and I think they, because there were two categories. A category for basically all the junior drivers, which are lightweight drivers, and all the
Yeah.
adults, heavyweight drivers. They put the junior drivers in front, so I
Okay.
started before out of the I think 8 junior drivers, so it wasn't
Okay.
that bad.
And
The
this
thing
is
that
yeah.
the thing that hurt me the most, though, is that because I couldn't get a push lap in qualifying,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know the track well.
Okay. So now you got track position, but let's see what happens on the race. These are good drivers in front, good junior
Yeah.
drivers.
The guy in second, I think, races in Greek championships all over Greece, basically.
Okay.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's wearing the CRG suit, and then we got another driver who's got some sort of team suit as well.
Yeah.
Decent start. You've held on to third now. You made it back up.
Yeah.
And what's your mindset now? Just push in front, follow the guys.
Trying to catch them and follow them. I
Yeah.
knew they were quick, so the closer I got to them, the better. But as you can see, I wasn't really familiar with the track just yet.
It's the same layout that you drove, or we discussed last week, pretty much.
Yeah.
They didn't change anything beyond that.
Yeah, and I think that confused me a bit because at the first corner,
Mhm.
that right-hander, there was a lot more grip, and you could almost, I think it was just a lift or a tap of the brakes. I did the tap of the brakes for rotation.
Yeah.
But on the second corner, right here, because I think you were carrying more speed, you had to brake a little bit earlier.
Okay.
So the track improved a lot, I think, compared to qualifying. Not qualifying, compared to the practice that I did. I think I improved about 1.5 seconds, and with
Amazing. Wow.
kilos on.
Yeah. How many kilos again?
I think 20 kilos.
20 kilos. Wow. That's that's always challenging, and it's on the left side that they put the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always challenging to deal with the understeer, especially on left-hand corners. So right-hand corners, you might get a bit more grip on the outside tires with that added weight, but especially on left-hand corners, the weight is also on the inside. That's where you get a lot of the bouncing and just not a smooth run. But to
Yeah.
be fair, you've held on to third, but fourth is actually close behind now. So what's the mindset now? You're letting him through?
Yeah. As you can see, I wanted to let him through, basically to follow his lines.
Yeah.
Calm down a bit because
That helps.
I was a bit stressed, anxious at the time. I wanted to catch him really bad, so I thought the best option I could do was let him through, and hopefully with a bit of bump drafting, we could catch them.
Definitely. What this does when you let someone through in front, you're able, not only to see their lines, but they're able to pace it better for you. And immediately, what I noticed as soon as you let him through, your line in this corner just became so much smoother. I think what you went for is a much earlier break.
Exactly.
And so much more controlled. And this time you're not running out onto the outside rumble.
Yeah.
First few laps, I know it's race start. It gets quite you can feel overwhelmed or anxious, so you end up overdriving. You go too fast into some corners, but sometimes it's best just to slow it down and have somebody in front to follow, which helps. How many laps did you follow him for?
I think 2 to 3 laps. You can skip over a bit. I think a minute or two.
Yep, there's a couple of laps over there.
Right here. You can go right here. So
Bump drafting.
yeah,
And we're
this
about
was.
5 laps in now.
I think so. Yes, this was a real turning point in the race.
Okay, what happened here?
As you will see, I'm keeping it a surprise.
Let's see. That's
Yeah. So
that's
basically,
really unfortunate spin.
I was trying to brake
Yeah.
at the same point where
Mm.
I used to brake
Mm-hmm.
in the practice sessions,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't take account slipstream and also
Yeah.
the excess speed that I had from the first corner, which was really faster now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, I went deep, very deep, locked the brakes and spun basically.
Yeah, and in that case, sometimes again you just revert back to the early braking technique.
Yeah.
And it's better to be safer with an early brake, and then benefit from better acceleration than trying to push to go too late and risking a spin like that. But that's something you learn through experience and doing the race.
Yeah.
I think you've definitely got a quick kart though, because I feel you're keeping up with people on the straights. You're catching them as well. The kart looks
Probably
pretty good.
because of the weight. These are like all adults, I think, so they got a lot of more weight.
But everyone has to weigh to minimum amount though, right? Like 75 or 85.
No, because
Uh-huh.
that's why they did the 2 groups.
Yes.
I think the junior category where I was in was a minimum weight of 70 or 75 kg.
Okay.
And these guys, I think, were like 100. So, or 90.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. No, then if it's 2 different categories, yeah, you'll catch them on the straights like that. We got yellow flags. People are spinning slightly. What's the mindset now? Okay, you've spun. You're back behind a couple of drivers. How are you gonna
Just try to pass them at this point. I think I knew right here that I was faster. So
Definitely. It's been about a lap. You know that they're different category to you. How are you planning the overtakes? Any specific corner you want to pass them, or?
At this moment, I didn't have anything in mind, but if I saw an opportunity, I would go for it just like that.
Beautiful. So what you've done over here, you've set up the overtake really well. You've stuck to your line with the hairpin. Getting a nice exit. Driver in front gets compromised. He's trying to follow the blue driver. Gap opens up, as you said. Clean down the inside. Cover the switchback, and then move on to the next lap. That's really good. We got the driver in blue now. Let's see how you catch up. Maybe go down the inside. That's a really good effort there, and very good move. Excellent. Well anticipated. In the slipstream all the way. Quite a brave move, because this was the corner just a few laps ago where you spun out, but really well controlled under braking. Drive in blue is caught off guard, and you made the position. That's excellent. Are you back up to 6th or 7th maybe now?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe okay. I think I think it's P7 now, because
P7.
if I remember correctly, No, it's actually P8. There's a
P8. Okay.
three-car convoy, I think, in front, and
Yeah.
2 other cars way off in the distance.
I think again, as you're, let's say, 6 laps in or 7 laps in now, you can see the confidence and the composure is back. So, for example, at this corner, hitting the brakes at the optimal time, not veering off too wide, and look at that, catching the drivers in front. So actually, in a race scenario, it is all mental. You have to calm your own thoughts down. You might know the lines and the breaking point and all this, but sometimes the pressure can take over and you just don't drive as you normally do. But once you overcome a couple of laps and all that's happened to you from losing a few positions, spinning out, you can argue like the worst case scenario has happened to you. Now you just clear your mind and you push forward. And look at the difference that it's made. Like, you've already caught the guys in front within a couple of laps. And you're actually driving more on instinct now rather than having that pressure in the back of your mind. I mean, beautiful line once again. If you watch this over here, attacking this hairpin, really, really smooth on turning. And your minimum speed through that corner is really, really high. If you compare this lap to lap 1, huge, huge difference. And I just think that's in a confidence
Yeah.
thing.
The thing I struggle the most, I think, is getting into a rhythm early on, and I think it hurt me a lot more because of the qualifying. I couldn't get a push lap, so I went into the race, didn't know the track perfectly, all the braking points and everything like that. And it cost me.
Definitely. And was this your first time at the track after a long time? Like, you weren't able to practice as well before this?
Yeah.
Oh, then
I
definitely,
I wasn't able because I think at this time this track is the biggest in Greece in terms of kilometers. So a lot of racing teams with racing carts come here to practice, and it was full every time.
Honestly, really, really good recovery though. Here we go, side by side, switch back maybe. Yeah, what a move! What a move! Oh, it's gonna continue down the hill, and yeah, you got the position. Wow, what a move! So again, you set this one up really well. You got a very good exit out the first corner. You're on his bumper. He goes defensive. You stay on your line. Now what you do is go for a relatively early break. Anticipate him to overshoot. You cut back, get better acceleration, and I think he just concedes the position. Up to P7, you'd say now?
With the carts in front, I think so, yes, P7.
Awesome. Now we got the pack of 4 carts in front, and I think that's a mix of heavyweight drivers as well, right? There are a few heavyweights.
These are all heavyweights.
All heavyweights, okay. It looks like it because you're catching them so quickly. Albeit they are, I agree, they are battling, so they are going to lose time. But yeah, look at this. Within a few corners of this lap, and by the last 2 turns, you're pretty much on the back of them. Let's see how you go through this pack. And see, it's also motivating for you. You probably felt this, that once you're passing a few drivers, the confidence levels are increasing even more. And you're finding that flow and rhythm as well. Really nice through turn 1. And yeah, this is the 4-card battle, and they're giving each other a hard time. Nice exit. Go down the inside. Yep. Beautiful move. Excellent, excellent. What's your thinking over here now? A few cards in front.
I think right here, I just thought, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I just will try to pass them.
Whoa, that's a dive. Oh, that's the driver you over.
Yeah.
What happened here?
I didn't really expect it.
Yeah, you didn't expect it. You know, sometimes it's best to follow an attacking driver. So if you look at the guy in the black, especially when he initiates overtake, if you try and
Yeah.
follow him through, two goes into one. So you can potentially try that out next time. Otherwise, you put yourself at risk for things like this. People dive bombing. I think you'll get him back though, but very very soon.
Yeah.
Working together for a bit. How many total laps then in this race?
I think 15. 15 total
15.
laps.
Okay, that's a good amount of laps. That's a good amount of laps. And at this stage of the race, what's happening really? You're just caught in this battle, you'd say?
Yeah, just getting held up a bit, trying to find a space to pass. Right now, I think I was just trying to help the guy get closer to the front. Maybe he does a move and I follow him. But I think I pass him normally at some point.
Yeah. What you'll see is if we run it a few laps, he goes a bit wide, you go down the inside, and you take the position. You tried to go for the move here, just carried a bit too much speed, so he switches back. But you get this driver back anyway, a couple of corners down, which is nice. Just about, maybe. It's a good battle. And you finalize it. Awesome. Now the back end of the race, only a few handful of laps to go now. Can you catch the drivers in front? That's the question. Within a few laps, you're on their bumper. Are these the guys in front? Did they?
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to them? Did they bump each other or?
No, I think they were
just caught
fighting
them?
a bit and I
Yeah.
passed one of them.
In the slipstream. Just waiting for the opportunity to open up. And yeah, you get your chance on the main straight. So technically in your category, which position are you now? Podium?
P3, yeah.
And I assume that is how the race will end with you in P3?
Yeah, I think the guy behind me passed me again.
Yep, this driver in the suit.
Yeah. I got held up a bit in traffic.
Okay.
So at one point, I think he passed me on the main straight. I got a bit caught off guard. I could have passed him again. I had like 3 to 4 opportunities to pass him, but I didn't realize it was the final lap, so I just stayed behind
Okay,
him.
perfect. Well, you secured P3 then, and you took a podium in this race. That's excellent. So, I'd say that's quite successful after having the first lap or first few laps you had where you spun out, you lost places. A good recovery drive. The pace was definitely there. That's the advantage. And now this is a really good experience you've got under your belt, because you can learn from this. And as you've identified already, it'll help if you can get a clean run in qualifying and some additional practice before the race at the track. Otherwise, you're having to learn it on the go, as you do each lap and getting used to it. But it's there. It's in the back of your mind, as you saw. You displayed that you got the pace. What was your best lap time? Do you get that as well after?
Yeah. I think. Wait, let me see. I think I have it on my phone. Yes. So my best lap was a 13.4.
Okay.
The guy in first did a 12.8. He's really, really fast. But the guy in second did a 13.7. So I think with a perfect race, no mistakes. Next time out, if the grid is the same, P2 is on the cards.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, when is the next race?
This Wednesday.
Oh, it's on Wednesday again. Excellent. So, are you able to get any practice before that, or
No.
you're just gonna have to do
of
everything
the-
on Wednesday?
Yeah. I'm really busy.
Well,
this
it's only
weekend.
a week. Yeah. It's really it's not that much of turnaround. So yeah, go out there, enjoy the race, and let us know how it goes. Hopefully get some footage recorded from there. Yeah.
I will.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Theo, for sharing. Was there anything else you wanted to do before we go on to the next driver?
No, not really. Maybe some tips on finding the rhythm earlier and learning the track a bit faster.
Yeah, definitely in qualifying, you have to strategically find track position. So, how do they let you out the pit lane? Is it one at a time or all in one line you go?
Yeah, it's we get in a line and one at a time they let us through. I was last basically.
Okay.
So in the first lap, I thought, okay, I will go slowly.
Yeah.
There's no rush. On the second lap, I tried to push a little bit more, but there was a huge convoy of carts, all bunched up together, and I thought, okay, I will back off, leave a gap, and start the next lap. And basically, this happened for almost every
Oh, man.
lap.
Yeah.
Until I found some free air and spun.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say that that's the only thing you want to do in qualifying. Try and get a string of laps together where hopefully it's clear track. But as you said, you tried to slow down, especially when on the first lap, and it's just your luck that you caught up to a bunch of carts. Then you had the spin as well. So yeah, I'd say qualifying in your case, especially when it's like 25 drivers, it is down to luck of track position and ability of drivers. Remember, you're going to catch the slower drivers very quickly. So yeah, it depends on where they're placed. I would still say though, when you get out of the pit lane on that first out lap, have a look around and see the distances. You can see, up ahead how far the cart is, and you can see behind generally how far they are behind. So if there's enough gap, strategically, push on those laps and back off on others. It is 7 minutes though, so you're gonna have to be very efficient with that. Otherwise, if you don't want to risk anything, just push flat out from the beginning. But then you can risk having traffic on the way and things. Main thing is find a system that works for you, and implement that.
Okay, I will.
All right, Theo, it's been a pleasure. We're gonna have to move on to Marcel now. And Marcel, you were muted. I believe.
Yeah, when he got off, I also yelled, ah.
Marcel, you put some footage on for this indoor track. Have you got time to go through it?
Oh yes, I'm leaving in 3 hours. So
All right, let's take a look at Kartplaza, and then what's the second?
oh yeah, it's
What's
really
the-
terrible. It's Nijverdal.
Oh, Nijverdal. Okay.
Yeah, close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, I definitely didn't sound how it
No,
was
no
spelled,
worries.
how it looks.
No,
Nijverdal.
definitely
Okay.
not.
This is a Guy Williams type of track. Whenever I see indoor, I remember Guy. He's the indoor expert. This looks like a team sport track, as he'd say. But wow, I mean, what a track! Just first impressions are. I think you'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
This looks fast.
we based the choice on how it looks.
Yeah, definitely. Let's.
Well, on Eefde we have the Dutch rental championships today, so I cannot go to Eefde this weekend, and that's why
okay.
we're going there. Yeah.
This is apparently one of the fastest laps, 44.5.
This is the track record. So
Yeah.
this guy must be really good.
This is the
Or
lap to
go-
watch. I was gonna say it just looks so quick.
he's,
What
he's
main thing when
really,
you
really good.
it's your first time, right, going to this track?
Yeah, absolutely. So I notice he's lifting a lot. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to see what he's doing, but probably I weigh double his kilograms, and I don't know where to do anything yet. So first
Exactly.
he's just trying out and see what I can do.
You see, everything depends on that
Grip,
first.
cart,
Yeah,
weight. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
There's different variables. I mean, really, the first of all, the start line. I'm confused. There's two start lines. So apparently
Yeah,
there's
I'm
one over
confused
here.
as well. And
So this looks like the official start.
this is where he shows his times every time he passes. So I think this is the start line, but I'm not really sure.
I think that is. So what we'll do, we'll use that as the start reference.
And the part where he goes under something, and there's a short ceiling.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
seems
exactly.
the hard part. That seems he's doing something I wouldn't do. So I really like to know your opinion about that.
It's all a really good point that you made there. Whenever we're dealing with a new track, always look for similarities. What is the trend at this track? And here it's really going to be the hairpins. There's going to be some corners which are
This one is
flowing,
I mean. Yeah.
and then we have these very one-off corners which which will give you a hard time. The rest of the track, though, look, we got another hairpin. I think that's the third one I've counted so far. Fast right-hander, or you could even say into a left.
He lifts here.
Yep. Fast right. And then coming into the final couple of corners now. Another hairpin, that's about the fifth hairpin I've counted. Another hairpin, the sixth. And that is one of the fastest laps. So I believe we need to rewind to the 44.6. This was even faster. Let's go back to the beginning. 44.5. Okay. So I think the best lap I'm missing somewhere.
It's just I think after the 45, 44.54. So
46? 44.54. That's the record, yeah?
no, 52.
44.52. Where is 44.52? That's the question. 44.
Wow, 54 isn't that?
Yeah, 54. Let's watch the 54 lap. This is
The title
technically
says 52, but I don't care.
anything similar. All I want to do is just take a look at this in slow motion. So turn one, winding right-hander. Looks like the driver over here is applying pretty much full gas. Just pay attention to his footwork. What he's trying to do now is aim for a wide entry. I believe for this fast left-hander, which is coming up. I'd say it's a hairpin of some sort. It's interesting. You're probably going to have to apply some kind of braking similar to what he's doing in this case. And that's simply just to slow the car down enough to take this left-hand corner. You can see how much steering angle he's trying to put in. It's quite a lot. Staying nice and close to the first barrier and then clipping the second barrier as well. He's positioning the kart on exit to be, I'd say, in the middle of the track over here. Back on the accelerator, 100% on the gas, and then coming to this awkward section. Let's call it that. So just to recap, turn one, I'd encourage. Yeah, look at that. You can see one more time. Watch his left foot over here. Full on the gas. Watch his left foot. Brake.
Yeah,
So he's braking.
Yeah.
Short period, well before the apex. Prioritizing early brake, early acceleration. What's up, Archie, in the Instagram chat? Then we've got the short straight. It's all about placement of the kart. What you want to do is hug the right-hand side and position yourself to have a wide entry for the left, which is coming up. So we've got this left-hand turn. It'll be nice to ride up to these outside barriers, make this entry as wide as possible. Boom, left foot, tap of the brakes again. He's braking and he's turning sharply. And you can see he's releasing the brakes just before the apex. He's back on the accelerator now.
But he's not going wide now. And that's...
Yeah. And honestly, I'll come to the reasoning for that. Brake, back on the accelerator. So what's happening here is he's having to slow the kart down a lot because it's a very sharp left-hand corner. So just watch his left foot, brake. He's on the brakes here. He's starting the brakes at this part of the track. If you look, it's very early in the corner compared to the apex. And watch how much he holds the brakes for. So he's holding the brakes, he's holding the brakes, holding the brakes. Now he releases. So he's actually trail braked into this corner, right? Technically.
Yeah.
If you think about it, now that he's trail brake, he's lowered the speed that much. His minimum speed is going to be very, very low now. Additionally, look at how much steering angle he's putting in. It's quite a lot. So basically, he's really reduced that speed, and you have to for this corner. So what you don't want to do at low speed now is go back to the left and then come back to the right. Basically, waste meters is what we're saying. We want to
slow
take
enough.
Yeah, you're slow enough. Just take that tighter line. And what he does over here is keeps it in the middle. So you can see here, back in the middle, back in the middle. And additionally, he goes for a tap of the brake again, because it becomes even tighter this corner. So that's very interesting on his behalf. Watch his left foot, brake and turn. He does. So that will induce good rotation for him. It's a tap of the brake and turn. And then he's going to feed the gas as he comes out of the corner. He hugs that inside apex. He runs out to the left. And now he can hopefully have a straight run down to the hairpin. This is a typical hairpin that's coming up. So wide entry, preparing for a brake. Let's just watch his left foot. Let's see what he does. Boom. He's already on the brakes. Look at that. So in
Really
relation,
early.
in relation to the apex, very, very early brake. Sharp turn in again. You can see how much steering angle he's putting in, being aggressive with that rotation. So mid corner, or just before the apex, he can feed the gas, bring the steering wheel back to the middle. Look how close he gets to that tire there. That's really, really impressive. And then on exit, notice what he does. He doesn't go all the way to the left. He just keeps it 3/4 in the middle, even in the middle of the track. It's interesting what he does for the second hairpin now. Watch his footwork again. Back on the gas, 100%. Watch his left foot. Boom. Brake and turn. So he's braking, sharp turn, targeting an apex at this left-hander again. Again, leaving really no meters whatsoever. That left-hand turn. And this time, he uses all of the track on exit of the corner. So that's something to note. If we go back to that second hairpin sequence, or the double hairpin sequence, flat out as you come under that gantry bit, early on the brakes. This is, I think, going to be the key, Marcel. You can potentially use the board over here as a reference, that red sign. As you get closer and closer to that, what does this say? Does it say brake or something?
Watch out, dangerous corner. Brake on time.
You can't get better than that. That's a reference point with writing, telling you what to do. That's unique. So yeah,
I even didn't notice that.
that is hilarious. It's telling you to brake, so you can't miss it. Brake and turn. Try to hug that inside apex, but make sure you don't run too wide. Because what's going to happen if you go all the way here to the left, then the entry for the next hairpin is going to be too tight. So just do similar to what this driver is attempting. Keep it in the middle of the track. Sharp turn into the left. You may have to apply some brakes. And then
depending on my exit, of course, but I understand.
Exactly. Just play around that, listen to the sound of the engine, and using the track on exit there, maximize that speed. Fast right-hander. Oh, it's interesting. Okay. If you watch the footwork again, you can really tell. Brake, actually, he's doing. So he's turning and braking, which is very,
It's
very
not
fascinating.
not even lifting.
Yeah, it's actually applying the brakes, and he's still braking. Now he releases of the brakes. If you notice, in relation to the apex, releasing of the brakes, feeding the gas at the apex. Sorry,
But
you were
he's
saying?
He's not braking really hard here. He's just
Exactly.
smooth in braking. Okay, cool.
So it's wait one more time. Just watch the left foot. Yeah, smooth brake, releasing, and now that's very, very interesting. So keep watching his footwork one more time. There's a coasting period, no brake, no gas. It's brake. Now no brake, no gas. Now he's gas.
Yes.
So
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
That's something to note. In terms of the line, though, what he's doing here on the exit of the hairpin, he hugs the right-hand side of the track. He leaves a bit of a gap, opening up the corner slightly, but you'll notice he's not wasting meters by going all the way here. He's disregarded this part of the track, and what he's trying to do is keep it within this range. So keeping it relatively tight, smoothly applying the brakes, still keeping it tight. I think there's a faded white line you can use as a reference here. And then accelerating out of the corner, still keeping it tight. Reason you want to keep it tight is because the right-hand side of the track will then allow you to set up for the left-hander, which is coming. That's absolutely flat out. That's very impressive, this corner.
I think he's lifting in there. Maybe
True. Let's just watch the footwork again. Yeah, I think there's a lift there.
Slight lift, because I heard it on the refs when I was watching this.
True. Good point. That's because I'm in slow motion, so I don't have the audio. You could say the lift is just after this barrier on the right, or this post on the right, or as he turns in. So lift and turn, I'd encourage you to do that. Hug the inside part. This is very important. This is your first apex point. Try and get as close as you can to this, just like the driver is doing. And then get to the second apex over here. Look at that, really close. Leaving absolutely no time there. Straight line to the next corner. Remember, you want to drive, you reduce the meters once again. Let's just watch the footwork, sharp turning, 100% on the gas, getting close to our apex over here. Opening up the corner now. And now you finally have a bit of respite. You know, you can relax a little.
Yeah.
It's corner after corner. Here, it's still important. Placement of the car. Straight line. Boom. Something like that. So avoid unnecessarily going right, left. And similar to what he's doing, he's just disregarding this part. He's focusing over here. Focus over here in a straight line. Keep it to the left. Widen up the entry for the last corner. Let's just watch the footwork. Wide entry. Brake. Look at that. He's already on the brakes. Wow. So he's really prioritizing exit speed. His style of driving is very interesting. Early brake. Holding the brakes. And then back on gas at the end of this hairpin. Wow. So it's important we watch this in full speed to understand why he's braking so much. Look at the speed he builds up. Whoa, that's a fast sequence. So one more time. flat out, 100% on the gas, really high speed. So it has to be a hard brake initially. And he's actually trail braking. So holding his foot on the brake pedal. If you see, still on the brakes as he turns, and
Now he's
now he's
going, yeah.
releasing. Yeah. So just be observant of that. Back on the gas. See, he's going for a later apex, hugging the latter part of the corner. Now preparing for the fast left with a tap of the brake, a sharp turn in. Releasing off the brakes just at the apex is a trail brake once again. And then hugging the right-hand side of the track for that last corner, opening it back up and across the line, which is very, very, very fast. We can say.
Yeah.
And then
Can
really,
you go a little bit further in this one?
yeah.
Just the backtracker close enough is. Bit more. Oh yeah, please. Oh, that orange thing. That's the propane gas tank.
Ah, okay. That's what it is then. This is very interesting. Yeah, you can see. Look over there.
And
That's the first time I've seen that in a kart.
They got 10 horsepower. So
Interesting. Okay.
for indoor, it's really a lot.
Yeah, that is impressive. You know,
I also sent you the layout picture in the school chat.
awesome. Let me just
If you want to.
let me just take a look at that. Oh, you direct message me.
No, just in the track help for this weekend.
Okay. Honestly, I haven't received it there. It's
on the bottom, just below Theodore Bellish's post.
let me just refresh it. Now it's come through. Yeah.
I needed to push a comment.
Okay.
I was seeing it, but sorry.
This is it basically. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
hairpin, chicane, hairpin.
I think you counted right.
Yeah, that's impressive. But for 44 seconds, that guy was flying. Is this the driver who got the
I
record?
don't know. I really don't know. This is an old screenshot. Well,
yeah.
He just for last week he uploaded this one. So
let me know how it goes. Get some footage. Would love to review it with you tomorrow, based on what we've seen from the track record driver, because that was insightful.
If I'm too ashamed, I will not.
No. You're competing against yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's always room for improvement, and that's how, as drivers, our mindset is there's no shame in anything except for improving on our own timings. So there's always a challenge for.
I'm for sure breaking my PB in the first lap.
There we go. We love to see it. Is your son also going to be driving with?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Excellent. Let me know how it goes, Marcel. We're gonna hopefully wrap up for today's session. Was there anything else before we round off?
No, I will speak to you tomorrow.
It's a pleasure as always. Thank you so much, Marcel. We'll just review some of the chat whilst we're at it. We had a number of drivers on YouTube talking about the Madras track. We had people on Instagram. Jeff Floor's asking, do you recommend me to buy a race kart or track car? My parents recommend me to jump straight into track car. Honestly, karting is where you build a foundation for racing. Your racecraft, general skills, which you can take into car racing. And at the end of the day, it comes down to your goals. Yeah. Do you want a car race or do you want a kart race? It comes down to budget as well, because investment you're going to have to put, whether it's in a kart or a car. I presume you're joining us from Malaysia because you were mentioning about Shah Alam track. There, it's you got so many opportunities from the car racing series to kart racing series. And if you look at majority of the drivers there, they do start in karts and then they go over to cars. So I wouldn't neglect karting or jump right into cars, just on the the basis that there is so much value you can learn from karting. But again, look at your budget and split it up accordingly. That's what it comes down to. So there's many drivers who jump straight into cars and they just continue like that. It's really up to you. Many people were asking how to join this session. So what you got to do, head over to the KTips website, go to the Academy section, send a request to join. Once you join, I'll admit you into this portal. This is hosted on the school platform. So what you can do is leave a link, a track map, some kind of a video, just like all the drivers have done in this track help post. Specify which session you're going to join. It just helps with organizing the structure of the session. But as we said, Saturday mornings are very much suitable for the East Asian viewers, as we got a lot of you guys in the chat today. It's great to see. But we want you guys also to join the Academy. And then, of course, tomorrow evening session, which is going to be 6 p.m. GMT, that's a lot more suitable for US and European viewers. Additionally, introduce yourself in the comments. This is a global karting community you're going to be part of. So just in the past week, we had Thomas from Argentina. He started in rental karts on Speed Track some weeks ago. He finds karting very entertaining. We had Jackson from Australia. He's doing his first year in karting as a sport, and he's only 12 years old. So he's got a lot of years ahead of him. We had Sepp from, I believe, Kortrijk. Okay, so he's a Belgian-based karter. He additionally goes to Portugal in summer at various tracks. He goes karting every few months. We had Andre, who's done rental karting, and he has he's using his cousin's kart, which has a 30 horsepower engine. That is absolutely incredible. And Marcel, there's a fellow Dutchman over here.
Yes.
Is it Alkmaar?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good.
He raced at Race Planet. Have you been to Race Planet Amsterdam?
Absolutely not. No.
Maybe
I'm born in Rotterdam. I don't know if you know Rotterdam, Amsterdam don't like each other really well. So.
Okay, is that what it is? I need to.
No, just kidding. I've just
history.
never been there. Just never been there.
Awesome. So be sure, guys, to introduce yourself like everyone has done over here. A lot of people are asking as well for private help. That's where you can check out the classroom section. So a couple of options over here for you guys. Level 1 go-kart training program. This is the program I teach in real life at my track, now converted to an online program. That is for people who want to learn the foundations of karting. So what's going to happen is cover the fundamentals across 4 weeks. This will be done through a series of video lessons. Then on-track practice. So it's a hybrid program. Whatever you learn in your lesson that week, you go out and you implement it on track. At the end of each week, you're then going to have a private coaching session with me, so we can review your progress, plan ahead for the next week. Be sure to check that out. If you just need help for an upcoming race, you just have some questions, and you don't necessarily like to come on track help, you want it to be a private session, you can also go ahead and book that through the Academy. Until tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT, guys, we're hopefully going to catch up for another live stream, and we'll see you all then. Take care. Have a good day, Marcel. Have a good race.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye-bye.